Hey guys, it's me again. So I'm going to be doing a video that I've wanted to do for a long time but never really had the guts. I actually did record this whole story that I'm going to tell you once, and I edited the whole thing and then I deleted it right before I posted it because I was just afraid of what kind of drama it might stir up. But that's not what I'm looking to do. So I'm going to be explaining the importance of mental health in musicians through my own experience. I'm going to talk about this time I was playing in a band, and I'm not going to use the band name or any of the band members' names, even though that's fairly easy to find out through a Google search or just look at my old videos, because I have old videos of us playing. But I mean, the reason I'm not going to use their name in this video is because I don't want anyone to think that I blame them for anything that happened. I really don't actually. I don't blame them for anything that happened. I was angry at the time, but now I see it differently than I saw it back then, so I'll explain everything. So I'll start from the beginning. I started music school in 2012, and let me just explain a little something about music school. It's really, really normal for musicians to take 12, 13 classes and somewhere between 17 to 24 credits. It's insane. And the classes that we take, sometimes you'll have a 2-hour course twice a week for half a credit. Yeah, but it was something I took really seriously because my family did not have a lot of money to send me to school, and the fact that they scraped enough money to get together to send me to music school it just meant the whole world to me. So I didn't want to disappoint them. I didn't want to disappoint myself. I really wanted to do well, so I was determined. Anyway, so remember that. In one of my music theory classes, I made a friend whose name I'm not going to say, but we were just the cynical, sarcastic people that just sat in the back of the class and made fun of everybody. Yeah, so we got along. We didn't really hang out outside of class, but we were cool. Towards the end of my freshman year, actually I think it was right after my last final, I was practicing in a practice room, just about to leave and go on summer vacation, and this person came up to me and he said, "Hey, my band is looking for a bass player. Would you be interested in trying out?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure," because I had never played in a band before. I was like, totally, of course. And it just so happened this band rehearsed in my hometown that I moved to a year before this all happened. So it was, they lived like 5 minutes away. It was so convenient. And the audition did not go well, in my opinion. I brought my huge upright bass. It was hard to get it up to where they were practicing because you have to walk up a huge flight of stairs. So that part was kind of weird, and I was so out of my element because I'm classically trained. I'd never do stuff like this. And their music was very radio friendly, pretty much pop music, easy to listen to, not hard music, just totally different for me. So I didn't feel like I nailed the audition, but I think I kind of won them over by just talking to them, I guess, and just trying to relate to them and be funny and be charming. I don't know. I'm pretty good at selling myself in that way. So they asked me to be in their band, and that was awesome. Things moved pretty quickly from there. We rehearsed at least twice a week, sometimes more if we had a show coming up. And then about a month into playing with these guys, we had our first show. I actually don't remember our first show very well because we had so many shows. But I think the first show, not a lot of people showed up for, but then the second show, once we really started getting into it and we were playing shows in New York City all the time and started to build up a following, it was just, there's no way to describe it. It was just infectious. People loved the music because, like I said, it was very radio friendly, very, very easy to listen to. So people were dancing, they were clapping their hands. There were parts when we we would say something and have them sing it back to us, and we the audience participation was really the best part. So and then that, I guess, is sort of how we built a following. But also, the guys in the band were so good with social media, much better than I am. So that they were marketing us. They told me how to go and talk to people about the band and get them to listen to us and promote us. We were pretty much a business. Also, what was really fun was I would go out and get coffee in my town, or I don't know, I'd be shopping at a store, and people would the cashier or something would be like, "Hey, I know you. You're that girl in that band. I saw you guys play at that place over the weekend." This happened a few times, and it just, I don't know, it just made me feel like I was like a local celebrity or something. It was really cool. So anyways, stuff really started to change in January. I took a short break from the band. It's not really important why, but like mostly just because school started again, and more of my focus was in school than in the band because of what I said before. Like, my family put me through school. I really wanted to do well. It was important to me. But anyways, in January they asked me to come back to the band and start playing with them again. So I agreed. And they were in the process of writing a new EP. So so they completely changed the set list that I knew. We had all new songs. And we started recording, we were doing music videos, like everything was just completely different. And then, so all that was going on at the same time that I was in school taking an absurd amount of credits. I managed to finish off my sophomore year. My grades weren't as good as they were my freshman year, but I mean, I passed. But they weren't as good because like I was sort of splitting my time, some time with the band, some time with school. So we started touring in the spring, did another tour in the summer, and it just, every time we did a show, I just felt like cooler and cooler. And like people were sending me messages on my Facebook. Like, I actually remember someone that used to pick on me in high school messaged me and said, hey, like, I just want to apologize for all the things I said to you. I see what you've been up to lately, and like, I'm happy you're so successful. Like, you know, like just all these social climbing people. Okay, so now I'm gonna get to the part when it starts to go downhill. My junior year of college, I was still playing in the band. I'd been playing with them for a year and a half, I guess, maybe a little bit more than that. And I was taking 23 credits, I believe, either 22 or 23, but like an absurd amount of credits. And then your junior year of music school, if you're a performance major like I was, you have to do 2 recitals, one your junior year and one your senior year. So that was going to be way at the end of the second semester, so I didn't really need to worry about that, but I was taking a lot of credits. So my first class started at 8 a.m. and my last class usually ended, some days were different, but most days my last class ended at 7. So 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. That was my whole school day. Then I'd get home around 8 if public transportation got me home on time, and then immediately go to band practice with these guys. And because we were going full force, like we were putting out a new EP, band practice would go pretty late, sometimes to midnight, sometimes even later. So then I'd get home around 12:30, 1 a.m., do my homework until maybe 4 a.m., go to sleep, wake up at 6 a.m., and then start the whole day over again. This was going on almost every single day of my junior year. So I was getting about 2 hours of sleep every night, plus we were playing shows on the weekend, so it's not like I slept much on the weekend anyways. And this definitely reflected in my playing and just being around me. I was kind of becoming a miserable bitch. And the band definitely called me out on that a couple of times. They'd be like, whoa, what's up? Like, you're being ridiculous right now. So we get to the second semester of my junior year. Same deal. I would have ridiculously long school days, go straight to band practice after school, go home, do homework, go to sleep really late, wake up really early. I wasn't sleeping at all. And then to buy myself some more time, I pretty much stopped eating, and I used like the time I would spend eating, I used working, like mostly on school stuff, because I didn't want to fall behind in school. So I wasn't eating. People were worried about me. My bass teacher especially, she was always saying, Kara, you look like you're wasting away. Please go eat something after our lesson's over. Like, she said this all the time. And people at school were spreading rumors about me that I had an eating disorder, which I adamantly denied. But now I admit it was true. Yes, I did have an eating disorder. I was wasting away. But of course I thought I looked good, and I thought I was like doing well in the band. I thought everything was fine. So of course I kept going with everything. I didn't even really realize that anything was wrong in the moment. I didn't realize until like looking back. Actually, I had to request a week off of school so I could go on tour. We went all the way down to Texas. Yeah, so nobody's allowed to miss school in music school. Like, if you miss 2 days, boom, you fail. But I got special permission because I'm out playing music, and they tend to be sympathetic towards that. If you're going out and doing the thing that you're going to school to do, they tend to be more lenient. So I got special treatment because I was playing in a band. So they let me go off and go on tour. On the tour, we went all the way down to Texas and we played South by Southwest, which is like a musician's dream pretty much. Then I came back and everybody's like, oh my god, Kara, you're so cool, like, what was it like, blah, blah, blah. And I started getting invited to parties, which I had never had before. I never got invited to parties before this, so I felt like cool. And this is when stuff really started to go downhill. So I was playing in this decently successful band. I was taking 22 or 23 credits. My junior recital was coming up and finals were coming up. I was just a mess with stress, and I wasn't sleeping. I wasn't eating, I wasn't sleeping. Now, let's add drinking to the equation. At one point, I just really couldn't even be bothered to drive home after school on days I didn't have band practice because that took up too much time. So I would go to friends' houses and study and do homework there. But I did have some good quality friends that I could have gone to like hang out. Probably would have gotten food afterwards, and I would have like gone to sleep and it would have been chill. But no, I didn't go to those friends' houses. I went to the ones that I knew always had alcohol. So I was drinking pretty much every night. I was drinking on nights I didn't have band practice. Then usually we did have drinks during band practice too. And then like when we played shows, we usually played bar shows, so like we'd get free drinks there. So I was drinking basically every night. I don't want to say that I had a problem with drinking because of how easy it was for me to stop after all of this was over. But I guess I can say I was sort of drinking to like just keep going because I was so manic at this point. I just needed something to get me out of my head. But like the band just kept getting better and better. We were entered in the New Jersey Break Contest and came in first place, which was a huge deal because then we got to headline Skate and Surf. I got to meet musicians that I looked up to, and I didn't just get to meet them, I got to hang out with them backstage as like one of their peers. We were in the newspaper all the time. We were like we were doing interviews, we were playing on the radio, like it was insane. And that's what made me want to keep going with this. I wasn't getting paid for any of this stuff. I didn't have time to do any sort of real work, so I wasn't getting paid at all. I had no money, just I was a mess on the inside, but it felt like it was all so worth it, and I wanted to keep going. But anyways, like you can only go for so long like this. And eventually it did all start to fall apart. I started to go a little bit crazy, and I mentioned before, I was just sort of picking fights with people for no reason, and it started to get more frequent. The band started to get fed up with me, and then just one day after school, I was in a band practice, and we were getting ready for a show where we were going to have to play all movie music. It was like a movie themed show, and we were playing all music from American Beauty, so we had to learn all these new songs, and we weren't ready by the time we normally ended our band practice, so they wanted to go for another hour, and it was already midnight. So, and I had school the next day, but like, I don't know, I probably could have talked to them and they would have been understanding. I don't even know if they would have been understanding because this was like there was a lot here that we needed to do. But anyways, I didn't even think to talk to them. I called myself a cab and I just left. And they're like, where are you going? I'm like, home. I'm just gonna go home. I can't do this. And then the next day, of course, it shouldn't have surprised me at all back then, the singer called me and said they had discussed it and they didn't want me to play in the next show. And and I was like, that's cool. I don't want to play in this show either. I have too much to do. My junior recital's coming up. Like, I have too much I need to do. Then they started playing more shows and didn't invite me, and I realized at this point they were kicking me out of the band. So so eventually I called up the singer and I literally begged him. I begged him to let me stay in the band. I said something like about how I was like fighting with my family and that's why I was upset and that's why I went home that day. But no, really, I went home and I went to sleep because I needed to sleep. I wasn't sleeping at all. Honestly, I probably sounded really, really crazy on the phone, and that's probably what he ended up thinking. He probably thought I was crazy, and that's probably what he told all the band members. I was a little bit crazy at this point. So I was crying on the phone, I was begging him, I was like saying anything that would come to mind to get him to change his mind and let me stay in the band, but it was useless. They made up their mind. They didn't want me in the band anymore. I just became so depressed. Like I cried for like a week. I thought this was the worst thing that ever happened to me. But I've learned a lot since then. I started to sober up a little bit. I wasn't drinking every single night, and things started to get a little bit more clear. I had more time to sleep now that I wasn't playing in the band. I did my junior recital. It went really well. The band's members actually showed up and played one last song with me, and that was the last time we played together, which was very nice of them. It was awkward though. So much has happened since leaving the band. I sobered up for one. I started to sleep more, which is awesome. I graduated from college. I had the opportunity to travel. I mean, I was traveling with the band anyway, so I guess I'm just trying to say I didn't lose that. I still get to travel. I was able to move out of my dad's house. I wasn't making any money when I was playing in the band. Now I'm making money, which is great. And I was just kind of worried when they kicked me out that this would hurt my reputation as a musician, but it hasn't. Now I realize, like, I'm not crazy. It's not like you can't work with me. I just wasn't taking care of myself. I wasn't sleeping, I wasn't eating, and I was drinking. And it got too much for me to handle. I read about musicians all the time, like famous musicians, like going into clinics for their mental health, like, because you just go and you don't sleep. Being a musician is a really, really hard job. And what I'm trying to say is you need to find a balance. You can work hard, you can party, and you can sleep, but you can't do that all every day. You need to make time for yourself, make time for your mental health, and take days off. That's something I never had. I didn't have days off. So I've learned from that a lot. And I think I've regained my sanity back through sobriety, through yoga, through meditation, and through surrounding myself with friends who actually cared about me and didn't just want to hang out with me because I was playing in a band and because I like to drink. Now I actually know who my real friends are. There's only one person from the band that I've kept in touch with, and that's one of the drummers. He left the band for similar but different reasons before I left the band. But he and I have kept in touch and hung out a couple of times since then, and we've actually discussed possibly doing some music in the future together. I hope that still happens. But everybody else in the band I haven't really kept in touch with. I mean, I hope we can make amends at some point because of all that we had been through together, but I'll leave it here. I wish them all the luck in the world, and anybody who's watching this, if you're a musician, or if you're doing anything that requires a lot of your time, just remember to sleep and make time for your mental health. Because if you don't make time for yourself, it'll all fall apart. Like, you can't drive from one end of the country to another without stopping for gas along the way. I hope that was a good analogy. That was the best thing that came to mind right now. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and let me know if you have any questions, or you know, just leave your comments down below. Make sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell so you know when I upload a new video, and let me know what you guys would like to see next. So, thank you so much.